Hello. Happy Tuesday. I'm doing something a little different today. I put it on my business page and then I shared it to my other group. So I hope everybody is jumping on. Hi, Renee. Hi, Kathy. Nice to see you guys. Hope I don't lose anybody because I'm doing it that way. Nope, there comes some more. Great. All right. Welcome, everybody. Got some fun projects tonight for back to school. When I was a teacher, this time of year was kind of anxiety provoking and I started to have nightmares and things like that. So for a teacher, it's kind of a mixed bag. Sometimes you're happy and excited to get started with a new group, but boy, it's a lot. But we're going to make some happy back to school projects tonight. And these are, matter of fact, a great project for a teacher. They would really, really love these to start in that first few weeks of craziness in school. All right. All right, well, I think I'm going to get started because it is 8:30 and hopefully some others will jump in. And we've got two projects, so we've got, we're going to need some time to get through these, okay? The projects we're going to be making are, first one we'll do is this little treat box. Hi, Jean, nice to see you. This little treat box. This is made using the Above the Clouds stamp set, and there's also a corresponding, if I can find it, yep. And there's a corresponding little balloon punch with it. We're going to be using that to make our little embellishment on the front. And then you open it, has a little belly band. You open it and you can put a Ghiardelli square in there, or it also fits like little fun size candy bars and things like that. So the reason I love this box is because it's made out of a 6x6 piece of paper, which a lot of our designer series paper comes in, and there's no cutting at all. So you can make this little treat box without using your scissors, which was kind of amazing and took me a little bit of time to get used to. So I kind of call it like an origami box because it's all folding and adhering and there's really no cutting at all. So this will be the first project we're going to do. And then our second project will be our little backpack, which I love. And I've seen a lot of these on YouTube and Pinterest, and they used a 12x12 sheet of paper, which I just didn't want to have. So I kind of adjusted the measurements and I got it down to a size that you'll be able to use an 8.5 and 11 piece. And I think it's a perfect size. And I'm hoping to give these out to some of my teacher friends. And I think I'm going to put in some hand sanitizer and some chocolates and things like that. But I love it because I'm using a magnetic closure, which makes it real easy. Some like to tie them closed or some use a little Velcro, but boy, if you use that little magnets, it really, really makes it nice and clean and fun. So this will be our second project that we work on. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna start first with our little treat box. Now, before we do that, hi Jody, thanks for watching. I wanted to share with you what our giveaway is today. And our giveaway is a sample pack of the Follow Your Art Designer Series paper. And I used that to make this backpack. Now tonight I'm gonna use a different one, but I used it to make this one. And I used it to make this backpack. This has such cute little markers and crayons and things on it. And then this one has like yarn and string and baker's twine and things like that. So I use these, I use the paper from this set to make these three little backpacks. So that's what's in my sample. There are 12 sheets in there, 6x6. So you get to have a little sample of each of the papers. So in order to be able to be eligible for that drawing, I'd like you to please share this video to your own Facebook page. And hopefully that'll help me get some new customers, and I would really, really appreciate that. So this is our giveaway for today, and I'll be watching for those friends that share. All right, well, let's get started on our little box. We're gonna go ahead and do the box part first. And what it is, it's just a little box with a flap that goes down over top. And the one that I saw on Pinterest, they just kind of tucked it in like that, which you can do. That makes it real simple. But I'm a belly band person, okay? It closes it and it gives it a little extra decoration. So that's what we're gonna go with for that. So let's go ahead and make the box first. Now we're gonna be using the same paper. This is paper in the, this is actually in the Brights collection, the 6x6 paper. Okay, now I'm not gonna be using this is Flirty Flamingo. I'm gonna use the Bermuda Bay today. This comes in a 6x6 sheet, and it has 4 different types of patterns. This has like an argyle type pattern, and then it has the really cute gingham on the other side. So let's make it in the gingham. I like that. All right, we'll make a gingham one today. All right, let me get my directions out here so I know what I'm doing. All right, so we're gonna start with this 6x6 sheet of Designer Series paper. And I'm gonna get out my Simply Scored board. And now, when I talk about all the directions and all the dimensions and where you need to score, fear not, you don't have to remember them. You don't have to madly write them down. They will all be on my blog, and this video will actually be on my blog as well. So all the information and everything you need to make the projects will be there for later. So just enjoy and watch this evening. All right, so our first score you can pick any side here since all sides are 6. We're gonna go at 1.5 and 4.5. Then we're gonna turn it 1 time clockwise, and we're gonna go to 1 1/4, 1 3/4, 4 and 4.5. Okay, and that is all the scoring we need. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and we're going to use our bone folder, and we're gonna go ahead and crease all these score lines, okay? Now these first two score lines that we made, you wanna make sure that they come together and are just touching in the middle. And then you wanna make sure that you really go over those creases. So if you look here, it fits perfectly together, and that's gonna be, if you look here at my box here, this is where those 2 pieces come together. So this is the way the box is going to be. This is gonna be the flap on the top. So when you put these together, you wanna make sure that they come together and are flush touching each other all the way. And if they're not quite doing that, you wanna kind of adjust your paper a little bit and make sure they are doing that and crease it again. Okay, now we're gonna open up, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna crease on the other 4 score lines. Got one there. Got one there, and then 2 here on the bottom. Okay, ooh, there's more people on the live. Welcome everybody, thanks for joining me. All right, so there we go. We have all our score lines creased. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to fold these into the middle like that. Okay, you want to fold those into the middle like that. And we're going to do some folding now. So let's take a look at this side here first. Okay, now what we're going to do is you look at your top horizontal strip and your bottom horizontal strip. And you want to make sure that the larger one is along the bottom. Okay, so I needed to flip mine. Here, this one here at the bottom is, let me get my, I think it's, yeah, this is 1.5, and then the top one to the score line is 1 1/4. So you want to make sure the 1 1/4 one is at the top, because that's going to be the flap that comes down. We're going to be making the bottom part of the box where the chocolate is going to sit. All right, so now this is going to take a little bit of tricky folding, and you might need to look at it again a couple of times because it is a little tricky. But what we're trying to form here is our pouch for the bottom where our chocolate is going to sit. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold in. Let me make sure I'm doing this correctly. Okay. We're going to fold in. There we go. Let me do it, and then I can talk to you about it. There we go, and let me fold that down. All right, so what I did is I took the point at the front of the box, and this I'm going to form connect those two. So this line here and this line here have to touch each other to make, okay, like that. Okay, let me see if I can do it again here. This line here and this line here have to touch each other. Here I go. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold it in. Something's not right here. Did I not fold this correctly? Oh, I'm going on the wrong side. Here we go. I was doing the back. All right, here. Okay, just a moment here. There we go. I got it now. Oh, Facebook Live. All right, there you go. So there are my two initial folds. So what I did is I took this line here and this line here, and I made them touch on the outside. And what that caused is a little diagonal here. Okay, so that's gonna go up like that and like that. See, and that's gonna be the front part of the pouch. Now we're gonna do exactly the same thing on the back section. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this line here and this line here to touch. Okay, so let's turn it this way. And this is going to form the back section of the pouch. Okay. Dear, dear, dear. Okay. Am I doing this right? Oh, Barb. Okay. Let's try that again. Here we go. Okay, and those put together, and that's going to make that little diagonal there again. So now if you look here, we've got the two diagonals, and it makes the little pouch right there. Now let me do it again here. We're going to line up this, oops, we're going to line up this line here and this line here, okay? And we're going to have to fold it in and make a diagonal right there, okay? And that folds down, all right? So now you have your little pouch right there. Okay, now, but before we do any kind of pulling together of the pouch, we're gonna have to do some gluing first. All right, so if you look here on my piece of paper here, you'll notice there's a little trapezoid right here where our two diagonals come on both sides, okay? So you wanna keep those diagonals and that trapezoid from getting any glue on it. You want to go ahead and glue all the other places on both sides. So there. Now we're going to stay away from the trapezoid, and we're just going to put a little bit on this front triangle. Okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to close it up. Okay, and you'll notice that it just opens where that trapezoid is. Okay, and now the last thing we need to do is make sure that we can adhere these two ends down so that we just have the pouch that's open. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on those sections around the pouch, and I'm going to hold those down. And hold these down. I'm going to get my bone folder and make sure I put a nice crease on those diagonal lines. Hold that there. Okay, now the pouch is coming together. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fold on those upper score lines, and you're gonna see how that folds together to make our little pouch. Okay, now, let me go, I know I have, yep, here it is. What I did for this one is I took my corner rounder and I rounded off these corners here, just to make it a little cleaner. Okay, and now it closes up like that. Okay, so that is the box. I did no cutting, but I did have to do some fancy folding. So it does take a little bit of time to get used to how to do it, but after you do it a few times, it really becomes pretty easy. So if I go ahead and just put this, you can see the Ghiardelli fits right in there perfectly. Okay, let's go ahead and make our belly band that goes around that. Okay, the first thing we're gonna need for that is a piece of Bermuda Bay. And we're gonna go ahead, and we're gonna use the Starburst punch, and we're gonna cut that out from there. And then we're gonna use the Starburst punch's BFF, which is the 2-inch circle punch, and that goes right in like that. These are two great punches that are really great to have in your collection because you can make the circle and the Starburst, and that's just perfect to put on a card or a project or anything like that. We're gonna need this strip to write our sentiment, and let's go ahead and get this paper back out, and we're gonna go ahead and start some stamping. Get my stamps out here. Okay, let's go ahead and we're gonna stamp our balloon first. Okay, I'm gonna need my Memento ink right here. Okay, now this is another great punch coming up here. I'm gonna go ahead on the Bermuda Bay, I'm gonna stamp myself a balloon. And then I'm going to take my balloon punch and I'm going to punch that out. Alrighty, that'll go right on the front of our treat box. All right, so we're done with that. All right, now what do we need? We need our tiny little basket. All right, let me find my scissors. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stamp the little basket for the balloon. Okay, so here, I'm gonna take a small piece of the crumb cake designer series paper, and look at this. Here is the stamp for the little basket. If you have this, this stamp is adorable. You can make a little basket, okay, for the balloon. And then what you do is you bring it in here. Let me do it again. And I'll show you why. I put it upside down. I've learned a little lesson with this one, that you need to have it a certain way to be able to use the punch. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it inside the punch here. And I'm gonna punch down. Okay, so there's my little basket. Look at that, isn't that so cute? Okay, and I'm gonna take, while I have the basket and before I lose it, I'm gonna go ahead and put some glue on the bottom of the balloon and go ahead and attach the basket to the bottom. Okay, so that's all done, ready to go. All right, let's go ahead and get our circle here ready. Okay, what we're gonna need for the circle, we're gonna be put some clouds on there. So I'm gonna use my Balmy Blue on my Whisper White circle, 2-inch circle. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stamp some lovely clouds, okay, on the circle. And then I'm gonna take my Tombow glue and I'm gonna adhere that to my Starburst, okay? All right, now, if you look here at what I have, okay, this is the belly band that we're going for. So the next thing I need to do is take my balloon And I'm going to use a couple of dimensionals on the back of that. And I'm going to adhere him right to my circle. Okay, so there is my Bermuda Bay balloon. And now I'm going to take my strip here and I'm going to put my sentiment on, which is, you're off to great places. That's a great sentiment for all those kids and teachers that are getting ready to start a new school year. And also kind of reminds me of the Dr. Seuss. All right, so I'm going to stamp that. Okay, right on my strip. The strip is about a 1/2 inch wide. Then I'm going to take my tailored tag punch, and this does a great job of making little banners on the end. So I'm just going to stick it in like this, and I can punch, and look at that. It makes a little banner end. Because when I try to make a banner end, just using a scissors, sometimes it doesn't look so good. So that really makes the end look nice and clean, and the banner looks really, really nice. All right, so now I'm going to put a little glue on the left side, and then I'm going to put a dimensional on the right because he's going to be hanging off the balloon. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to put him right here. We're off to great places. All right, so there is the first part. Now all we have left to do is to put it on our box. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to use a belly band. Okay, this belly band is about a 1/2 inch wide. Okay, and let me show you how I put my belly band on. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start at the front of the box. Okay, now some people will give you exact measurements and exact score lines to score your belly band, but that doesn't always work because everybody's isn't exactly the same size. So I just find it better to just kind of press around the top and then once I do that, I take it off the little box, and then I can crease those lines and make sure they're lined up straight. Because it's really hard to have your creases be exactly the same every time you make the box. So there's my top, okay? And now that belly band's gonna come around the bottom. I'm gonna do the exact same thing again. I'm gonna just pinch it at each of those corners. And now I'm going to cut off a little of this here. We don't need all that, okay? And you do want it to come and have the closure in the front because we're gonna put our embellishment on and you won't even see that, okay? So now I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the underside of the strip. Now it's good to have your chocolate in there because it gives you something kind of to push against. So I always put my little Ghiardelli in there before I put on the belly band. And then it can give you a little bit of time to hold it there, okay? And there is the belly band on. Last thing we need to do is we're going to go ahead and put on 2 of those dimensionals right on the front like that. Okay? And then I'm going to take the adhesive off those. And I'm going to put my embellishment with my balloon right on the front. And there it is. There is the little treat box. You just slide off your belly band and you open it up and there's your Ghiardelli square. So easy, so fun. I made bunches of these for my customers that are coming to my Stamp of the Month, and they're just really easy to make and really fun. And as I said before, once you get the hang of the folding, you will love making these. And so easy. It's just a 6x6 sheet. Let me show you some of my other ones that I made. I have a whole bunch of these that I made for my customers in every color. I used all the colors from the Brights. Okay, and now I didn't put "We're Off to Great Places" on these. These are for my friends that are going to be at my Stamp of the Month club. So I put the High Friend, which is also one of the sentiments that's in the stamp set. So just loads and loads of fun to make these. And they're great to have on hand to give to friends. And they're just lovely, really, really lovely. I'd have to say my most favorite is the Gorgeous Grape. That is really, really cute. So I just had a great time making these. And as soon as you get that kind of origami fold down and understand how to make the pouch, you can really, really make these quick and easy. And they're good for anything. If you just change the paper, you can make them Christmas or you can make them Halloween, whatever you need. These would be great for Halloween as well. So, all right. So that's our first project today. Does anybody have any questions so far? I haven't been watching. Hopefully, if you have some questions, you're putting them up there. And if I miss them, I will answer them once I get off the Facebook Live. But if you have any questions about the treat box, let me know. Remember, my blog is thewexfordstamper.blogspot.com. All the dimensions will be there to make that. All right, so there is our first one. Okay, now, I think this is the one that everybody's been waiting for, isn't it? Yep. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make the backpack now. Okay, this is a really nice size. It's got lots of space in there. And what I've done here is I cut out a little stitched rectangle to make like the little pocket on the front. So I loved that. I thought that was a cute addition. And you can really use any paper. I showed you all these. These are the ones that I made using the Follow Your Art, which are super cute. I think these are going to be great, and I'm going to give these to some of my teacher friends for a first day gift. But they're so cute because they've got school supplies on them. So I just thought they were perfect for that. But I also made some using some of my other paper. Can anybody guess what paper this one is? This paper is from Bird Ballad. Okay, I used that and made the feathers. I love this paper. Lots of you know how crazy I am about birds. And then this one is the Magnolia Suite. So you can kind of move away from the, it being for a child, and you can move on to something that's a little more mature. Okay, you can give it to a friend or something. So those are two of the others. And then the last one I want to show you here, this one has stripes. Maybe you want to give it to a male. Okay, so I used some of the paper from Come Sail Away, and I made a little striped one. So there's just so many different options with this, and they're just beautiful. It's so easy to make. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, I'm gonna actually use some paper, some designer series paper from one of the new paper stacks that's coming in the Christmas and holiday catalog. And this is paper from, let me look here, Come Together designer series paper. And I picked out this plaid because I love that, and I think that's perfect for a back to school project. But this is actually for Thanksgiving, fall type occasions. Let me open up this paper and I'll show you some of the other designs. Okay, here's some pretty pumpkins. Love that. Oh, and there's some more. There's some gingham. Gingham has been so popular. And here's some stripes. Oh, that's pretty. Really, really gorgeous fall prints. Okay, and here, this is the plaid that I'm going to be using for my backpack. And on the back of that, there's some feathers. It looks like feathers. And here's another one. These are other fall colors. Let's see what we got. Oh, that's really pretty. That's Cajun Craze. So this is one of the new paper stacks for the fall, which will be available to customers starting in September. And I'm decided to use this tonight. Let's see how it looks. Now, the color that I'm using here is the plaid, okay? And one of the coordinating colors in that plaid is called Mary Merlot, okay? A nice, pretty, maroonish kind of color. Perfect for the fall. So this is the paper we're going to use. All right, now let me get my measurements here so I'm telling you the right measurements. Okay, so the size of the piece that we're going to be starting with is 8.5 by 10.5. Remember I told you I adjusted some of the measurements so that you'd be able to use the smaller cardstock. Many of the ones that were on Pinterest, you had to have a 12 by 12 sheet. And that kind of limits what you can do and what colors you can use. So this one is 8.5 by 10.5. So what you're actually doing is just cutting off a 1/2 inch from the long side. And you're actually going to need this for some of your straps. So it's good to have that extra piece. All right, so you're going to need this piece. Then you're going to need 2 1/2 by 6 inch strips. Those are going to be your straps. Okay, then you're going to need 2 pieces of designer series paper. Okay, one is 2 3/4 by 3.5. And one is 2 3/4 by 7. This is the one that's going to go along the front on your flap on the front, and then this one is going to be the one that's on the flap and curls around to the back of the bag. Okay, so they're both the same width, but one is 3.5 and one is 7. Okay, so we're going to put those aside for now. And then the last thing, I cut out the little rectangle using the framelits. And this color is Pretty Peacock, and that's going to be my little pocket on the front. All right? Okay, well, we need to start scoring now. So let's go ahead and get our scoring tool back up here. All right, so let's start on the long side here. Okay, on the long side, we are going to score at 3, 5, 8, 10. Okay, 3, 5, 8, 10. Okay, now you have a thin strip here on the right end. I want you to go ahead and turn this clockwise so it's along the bottom. Okay, now we're going to score at 1 1/4, 5, and 6 3/4. Okay, that is all the scoring. But now we're going to need to go back and do some scoring for this section of the bag. If you notice, I have little pleats on the sides of my bags. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you are going to make those little pleats on the side. If you don't make the pleats and you close it, it doesn't close as nicely and it can wrinkle. So as long as you have like a crease there, the paper knows where to fold and it makes it nice and clean. So let me show you how to do that. Okay, you're going to notice on your paper, again, we have it on the long side with the thin strip down this side. You're going to notice there are 2 rectangles on your paper that are 2 inches wide. These are the sides of your backpack, just like I showed you before. Let me show you a different color. Okay, these are the sides of your backpack right here. Okay, so that's what's right here. These are the sides. So what you're going to do is you're going to score down the center. So here it's between 3 and 5. So you're going to score at 4 and you're going to go all the way down. Oops, I'm using my... Okay, you're going to go all the way down through the first score line, second score line, and stop about 1 inch from the last score line. Okay, do the same thing here. This is your side. It goes from 8 to 10. You're going to start at the 9 and you're going to score through 2 of the score lines and then stop about 1 inch from the last score line. Okay, is everybody following? All right, now we need to make that little triangle at the bottom to help with the folding. So I'm going to have to take my ruler. Okay, let me hold this up here. You can see right here, I scored down there and then I have about 1 inch here that before I get to the last score line. Can you see that? Yep. Okay, and over here, same thing. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to put my stylus down here at the corner and I'm going to put the ruler so that it makes a line from that corner to the top where that score line was that you stopped. So I'm going to be making these little triangles at the bottom. Same thing here. I'm going to start here and I'm going to go up to the bottom of that score line that we made. Same here. Corner, up. All right, so let me show you what I did. Okay, there's the little triangles. Those are going to help us to fold the sides and they'll look nice and clean. All right, now let's do some cutting. Hope everybody is following along and understanding. Please ask questions if you need to. All right, I'm going to cut off the tiny little skinny rectangle at the bottom on the right-hand corner. Okay, then I'm going to go up the skinny rectangle and I'm going to cut off this entire section. Okay, there we go. So what did I cut off? Okay, I cut off the section that has one score line and then I cut on the second score line. Cut the whole thing off, left this final panel here. This is going to be the flap of your backpack. Okay? All right. Thanks, Jean. I hope you're following. It's really not that hard, so I'm hoping that I'm not making it harder than it is. All right, so now the last things I have to cut here are the flaps on the bottom. This is the bottom of your backpack down here. Okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to fold all the score lines. Okay, now I'm going to wait and I'm not going to score the score lines along the sides of the backpack just yet because those are actually going to fold in the opposite way. Okay, so let me fold along the bottom here. Okay, there we go. And we'll fold here. Okay, now here's our two sides. We're going to fold the opposite way on both those. Oops, there goes my stylus. We're going to fold the opposite way here. Okay, so if I can kind of show you what I did by looking there, all the score lines, except for the ones along the sides, fold down. And then these are going to fold up because that's the way they're going to fold once it's together. Okay, so there we go. There is all the folding, all the cutting that we need to do. Okay, now, before we assemble, we're going to go ahead and put our first panel of Designer Series paper right here on the front. So that right there is actually the front of the box right here. Okay, now, before we put that down, we have to put a magnet down first. Now, I will put the link to the Amazon link where I got these magnets. These magnets are 8 millimeters by 1 millimeter, and they come in a box of 80. Okay, and they are tiny, but they are mighty. Ugh. Okay, let me kind of show you what I have here. These stick together like nothing, nobody else. See there, that's the size. It's 8 millimeters by 1 millimeter. And I'll put the link for these, but they really make boxes come together much nicer than it can with any kind of a tie, or I used to do Velcro, and this is just much cleaner. So that's what we have to do first. We have to go ahead and adhere our magnet to the front of our backpack. Now we're going to adhere it first, and then we're going to put the Designer Series paper over top. Then you won't be able to see it, so it kind of hides it and you won't have the magnet sitting there. So on this first panel here, the front panel, you're going to put the magnet in the center about 1 inch down from the top. Okay, there's my panel. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and take my Designer Series paper, and I'm going to go ahead and put that over top of the magnet. Okay, and just push down. Okay, so I just think that looks so nice. You can't see it. So like here's another example. There is a magnet there, but you can't see it. So when you close the box, it just looks so nice and you don't have anything underneath. Just makes it look a lot cleaner. All right, so there we go. We've got our magnet ready there, and we have our panel down. Okay, now it's time to assemble the box. So we're gonna go ahead, and I'm gonna use my tear and tape, and I'm gonna put a piece along that thin rectangle on the right-hand side. Okay, I'm gonna take off. Yeah, I know. I'm sure you can find something to use those for, Jean, but I will put the link after I post this, so you'll be able to find the ones that I used, because these are perfect. These really work nicely. They're not too bulky. All right, so I got my tear and tape off. So now I'm going to close my box over. Okay, so now it's starting to look a little boxy, and here you can see are my score lines that made the little pleats on the side. See how that's much, much cleaner than just kind of squeezing it at the top? If you go ahead and put those score lines in there, it kind of directs it where it should fold, and it looks a lot nicer that way. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna close up the bottom. Now this is the front of the box, so this is gonna be the last panel that goes down. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put in our side panels. And I'm going to take a little bit of Tombow glue, and I'm going to put it along the edge here, just so we make sure that the paper is nicely glued at the edge and we don't have any gaps. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and put some on this. That's our front flap. Okay, so I'm going to first close the back flap, okay, along those. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and close my front flap. And then I'm going to put it down on there, and I usually go ahead and I take my bone folder, run it around in there, and I see my one, I didn't cut my one line as well as I like. There we go. Let's get it over here. There we go. There we have our bottom all closed up. Okay. All right, now we're getting close to putting our second magnet on. Now again, something else I did on all my backpacks is I rounded the corners on the top, just like I did in the little treat box. I just think it looks a little cleaner, looks a little nicer. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, use my corner rounder, and then I'm going to take the piece of paper that I'm going to be putting on top of that and round those corners as well. That's gonna go along like that on the back. All right, now, but before we do that, we've got to use our second magnet. And where did he go? There he is. All right, now, I figured out a great way on trying to learn how to position the second magnet. You're just gonna close your lid, okay, just as if it was you were closing your backpack, and then you're going to just put the magnet on the front, and it's going to automatically attract to the one that's already on your under your paper, your designer series paper. So what makes it easy, doing it like that, you're just gonna pick this up, you're gonna put a little bit of glue in about the area that it was, and then you're just gonna put him down, and he knows just where to go. Let me close him there. There we go, that's better. All right, so now I have him closed, and it's glue, has a little bit of glue behind it, so I'm gonna wait for just a second, and then I'm gonna reopen the box, and that's gonna stay right where it is. All right, so then all I have to do is take my longer sheet of designer series paper. This is 2 3/4 by 7, and I'm gonna go ahead and put glue on that, on all the sides and around the top, and then I'm gonna put it down across the bottom and the back of the backpack. Okay, see, this is going to be the back of the backpack where we're going to have our straps. Okay, so then I'm going to kind of put it down, and I'm going to use my fingers and just kind of rub over the edges to make sure that that paper is down, and there it is. Okay, so there's the front, and now I'm going to give a little bit, in fact, I'll use my bone folder. I want to round it a little bit to make it look more backpackier. Is that a word? I don't know. So I give it a little bit of rounding using my bone folder, and then I'm gonna fold it over And there it catches right on to where the magnet was. So there you go. And see, I rounded it a little bit. So it looks, I love this color. I want a backpack like this. This is beautiful. This is perfect for fall. Okay, so now we've got a hidden magnet. I just love that, the way that it's hidden. You can't see it. It can't fall off. So it's a really, really great way to close the box. Okay, we're almost done. Okay, why don't I go ahead, I'm gonna take my little square, my rectangle that I cut out using the rectangle framelits. I'm just gonna put a little glue on the back, and that's gonna go right here on the bottom like a little pocket. Okay, and that is in the, Perfectly Peacock? Somebody help me with that one. Perfect Peacock, something like that. It's one of the new in colors. Okay, so now that's all done. All right, now the last thing we need are our straps. Okay, so let's go ahead and get out our straps. The straps are 1/2 inch by 6 inches. Now, before we adhere them, we're gonna have to get out our scoring board one more time for good measure. And I think my stylus went flying when I dropped it, so we're gonna have to use my bone folder here. But you're gonna wanna score your strip at 1/2 inch on both sides. So you're gonna score it at 1/2, and you're gonna score it at 5.5, same thing. Okay, this kind of tells the paper where you want it to fold. Okay, at 1/2, 5.5. Okay, so that's all we need our scoring board for. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and fold those. And I'm going to use tear and tape for this. I'm gonna put a little piece of tear and tape on each one of those tiny little squares that I made when I did my score. So it's a little 1/2 by 1/2 inch square at both ends of your strap. And you know what this part's for. This is for attaching it to your backpack. Okay. All right, so now let's turn our backpack over. Okay, let's take this one here, and we're gonna go ahead and take just the bottom off. Okay, just one of the pieces of tear and tape. This helps us to find the right spot to stick it and also to line it up with the other strap. So I look right at this, and this is nice to have this as a plaid, but you're looking like right where the center of the backpack is. You want to kind of put your strap in the center of the 1/2. Okay, so here's my 1/2, and that strap's going to go right there. Now I'm going to get my other strap, do the same thing again. I'm going to look at the other half of the backpack. Come on. This is where I need my fingernails that I don't have. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere it on this half right in the center. And this gives you a chance to kind of figure out where they're going to be, because you want them to kind of look the same. Oh, and that one is twisted a little bit. Let's see. Let's move him around. There we go. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with where they are right now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the tear and tape off the top part of the strap. Okay, so then you're going to go ahead and you're going to loop it down, trying to keep it. Boy, this was a good choice to do with the plaid. I can really tell where I need to put it. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Loop it down. And there you go. There are your backpack straps. Okay, so there is your finished product. Isn't that adorable? I love the plaid. I'm ready for school to start. Here's my backpack I'm going to take. But yes, so as long as you are careful with that, you should be able to get those on nice and centered. Okay, and they have all of mine. I've put those on with tear and tape, and they've been staying, so it has worked. Hi, Barbara. Thanks for joining me. Thank you. I know these are so cute. I can't stop making them. So there is your backpack. Now, what I had told you before, I think I'm going to be loading these up with some goodies for some of my teacher friends, because they certainly do deserve it that first week of school. So that is the end of the tutorial for the backpack. So we had our backpack and we had our treat box. If you have any questions or are unsure about any of the measurements, you can always check my blog, or of course you can always message me if you have a question. So these are my back to school theme, and I actually have one more back to school theme project that we're going to make next week. But before we do that, I want to remind you that if you'd like to be in the drawing to win the Follow Your Art sample pack of DSP, please share this video on your Facebook page, and I will put your name in the pot and we will pull somebody out of there, and I'll give you this gorgeous Follow Your Art sample pack. All right? All right, well, I know Halloween is coming, and I'm really excited about that, but I actually have one more back to school project that we're going to be doing next week. So I made this adorable little pencil box. Isn't this cute? I looked and saw many of them on the internet and on Pinterest, and I kind of took some of their ideas and took some of my own ideas and came up with this cute little pencil box. And it opens up here, and inside you can put lots of goodies for a student or for a teacher, and put that eraser back on. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make the pencil box, treat box, next week. So join me next Tuesday night if you'd like to learn how to make the pencil box. So thank you for joining me, and take care, and we will see you next Tuesday night. Thanks. Bye-bye.